Hello everybody and welcome back to Screen Stars. I'm going to do a review today of the TV series from last year, The Exorcist, the season 1 review. Now, if you look back on my channel, when this series first started last year, I reviewed the pilot episode and the first 2 or 3 episodes, I believe, and I was really enjoying the series. And I think I got up to about episode 7 out of a 10 episode series, and then I just, if you like, other things took over in my life, and I never managed to catch up and watch the rest of the episodes. Well, I've done that now, and I really wanted to do my review for this series, the first series of the Exorcist show, because like I say, I was really enjoying what I was seeing. And I didn't want to review every single episode, and what I thought I would do was come back and just review the whole series. So I won't review each episode one at a time. Like I say, if you want to see my opinions on the early episodes, they're on the channel. What I'll kind of do is give you a general idea of my thoughts on the series and give you the overriding storylines. And I will give spoilers as well. So if you haven't seen the show and you don't want the spoilers, it's probably a good idea not to watch this, because there's some pretty big spoilers that I'll be giving away. So the series starts basically, and we are introduced to the cast. We've got Alfonso Herrera, who's Father Tomas, and we've got Ben Daniels, who's Father Marcus, and then we've got Gina Davis's family. With like Gina Davis and Alan Ruck, and they've got 2 daughters, and those, like, they're really throughout the show, those are the central characters here. We are introduced to some others, but the show really revolves around these characters. And what we find out early on is that Gina Davis's family, they've got some real problems. There's Alan Ruck's character, who is had some kind of accident sometime earlier, and he's basically suffering mentally. He has absences, he can't remember things, and he's got a disability now. Got Gina Davis's character Angela, who's quite successful, and her 2 daughters. One of the daughters was in a car accident previously and has had some issues, and the second daughter, the young daughter, we soon learn after the first 2 or 3 episodes, is possessed and becomes possessed by this demonic spirit. This is picked up reasonably early on, and the priest, Father Tomas, is brought in to assess her, and eventually he ends up teaming up with Father Marcus, who is an exorcist, who was, we learn, an orphan, raised by the church, but raised specifically to be an exorcist. But he's been excommunicated because he's a bit of a rule breaker. But he comes on board and he helps Father Tomas with this. And they spend a number of episodes trying to prove that she's possessed, and then fighting the possession. And at one point, the daughter who's possessed escapes and even murders some people, and it starts becoming part of the media then, and it starts escalating. But going on in the background of all this is there's a separate storyline where the Pope is coming to visit the city, and there's all these preparations going on in the background with the church in regards to prepare, and the police preparing for this visit from the priest. And we kind of learn that there's something sinister going on, and it's not just this one possession with Gina Davis's family. It's happening all over the city, and there are a number of church insiders in the city who are possessed, who are plotting something for when the Pope arrives. So there's that going on in the background, as well as all the family drama stuff. Now that all that kind of stuff kind of leads up to about halfway through the season, and it's all very good. It's all very gripping, no problem. I did mention at the time that I was getting a little bit concerned that it was starting to get a little bit far-fetched in regards to the Pope storyline, and my feelings are throughout really that still felt the same, even right at the end, which we'll talk about later. But about either episode 5 or 6, we learn that actually the Gina Davis's character is Regan McNeil from the original Exorcist movie. And we learn this because her mother, who played by Sharon Gless from Cagney and Lacey, turns up. And we learn then that that's the mother from the movie The Exorcist, and Gina Davis is actually Regan. So that's why all this is happening, because it's part of this family's past. And we do actually come to learn then that the demonic spirit that's possessing the daughter is actually the same one that tried to take over Regan all them years ago. It's the same one, Captain Howdy sort of thing. And we do see some flashbacks from the original Exorcist, but that kind of explain it away. Now, I really like this twist, and I think they saved it for the right moment, because I think if they'd made this reveal earlier in the series, it wouldn't have had the same kind of impact. How it did have a really impressive impact to me is because I'd already accepted these characters for who they were, and then the reveal that she was actually Regan was really good, and it really worked. So then she's got the dynamics with her mother to deal with for a couple of episodes, because she'd fallen out with her. And then there's a massive exorcism. The daughter is saved, or so we all think. But what has actually happened is the mother, Regan, Gina Davis, accepts the spirit back into her, the demon, to save her daughter. So the back end of the series, the demon is back in Regan, and it's fully taken over. It all looks doom and gloom for Father Marcus, who's trying to sort out this Pope thing. He knows something big's kicking off. And the final couple of episodes are almost like the final battle sort of thing. So, like I say, that is what leads up to the final, the end of episode 10. The battle between the demon that's now in Gina Davis and the scheme against the Pope. And can Gina Davis and her family be saved, and can the Pope be saved? And it all builds up to that crescendo. Overall, I would have to say that this was a very, very impressive series. It was scary when it had to be. It was really well acted, well written. It built tension really well. There was nothing that was really weak. It was a really nice overriding story. For me, the main weakness here was the Pope storyline. It just felt it went a little bit too far with the supernatural stuff and the demonic stuff. I think it would have been better to keep it a bit more enclosed just to the family for the first series. But that's not to say that I didn't enjoy the Pope storyline. I just thought they went a bit far with it. Like I said, it just almost felt like the TV show Supernatural. It's like everybody's a demon. And I just think they just needed to keep it a little bit tighter with just the family. But a very, very good series. My understanding is that it's returning to the screens again in September. I think it's September, and I will definitely be watching the second series. I thought it was an impressive opening season, and I do highly recommend this series. If you like a really good thriller drama with really good horror elements trickled into this, you will enjoy this series very much. So thank you very much for watching, and if you enjoyed this video in any way, please support the channel and subscribe. Thanks very much for watching.